I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna drink a fine whiskey and smoke a really fine cigar.
All right. There you go. It is time for Happy Hour. It is the Man Cave Happy Hour. Whiskey, cigars, spirits, the stories that go along with it. I'm Jamie Flanagan.
I am Matt Fox.
Oh, hi, everyone. I'm August.
Hey. And in the studio with us,
Mike.
Yeah, so it's the Man Cave Happy Hour. We are getting happy. Usually, a lot of times we'll record two in a row.
Yes.
And it's usually pretty obvious which one was the second.
Or the third.
Oh, boy.
There was actually one evening we did a whiskey event, and we had probably done 7 or 8 shows.
Oh,
by
good
the
Lord.
7th show, you knew we were
Right,
7 or 8
right.
shows into it.
And the last one was a scotch.
Oh,
Scotch.
What does scotch do?
Oh, it makes me crazy.
What?
I make bad choices with scotch. I'm telling
your first choice is bad choice with scotch.
Yeah.
Right. There you go.
But I enjoy me some whiskey, and I love some bourbons and things. And the reason we do the Man Cave is to learn, right? So we had Mike in here from Blake's Hard Cider teaching us all about Blake's Hard Cider,
Yes.
a Michigan product that's going nationwide.
Right.
Soon, hopefully.
Yeah. And so, we're really, we like to learn. And what Matt and I, one thing that we learned was that you don't have to be from Kentucky to be a bourbon.
No, you don't.
You don't, but
However,
it's just that much better.
see, if you are from Kentucky and
Yeah.
you do have a bourbon, you want to go and visit. You want to go to the distilleries. You want to visit the Bourbon Trail.
That's
you
it.
want to experience the distilleries and the stories behind the distilleries and taste and everything.
And we like to learn from the pros and share that with people.
Yeah, and we also want to be responsible at the same time.
That's right. But and we share these stories just
Right.
like people share the podcast as they like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
Oh,
We
Yeah.
didn't do the podcasty stuff up front. We always forget all
Yeah.
the podcasty
Because
kind
we're so
of stuff.
excitable about what we're
Does
going to be
it
trying.
matter? Do you have to do that? Should you do that? I always, because you hear like all the podcasts going, oh, like, subscribe,
Like and
leave a comment.
subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Right. And people do that.
Wherever finer
It-
podcasts are found.
do you have to do that?
I
Should
feel like
you do that?
I feel like
Is it
people just
redundant?
know that you do that if you like the podcast.
Even,
As a
Yeah.
sales
even,
guy.
even the big
Right,
boys
right.
do it.
Yeah.
But
Even,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Chuck Todd still does it
Right.
in the Chuck Todd cast.
Right.
So
It's my boy Chuck,
it's
you know,
yeah.
Chuck Friends.
Dr. Phil still does it. For
They do.
goodness sakes.
They all do it.
So
People are still listening to if they're listening to podcasts and they don't know to like and subscribe.
right.
That's a personal
All right,
problem.
so-
How do I do
All
that?
right. So mom, if mother, if you would mom. Okay, mom, wait. All right. No, it's the other button, mom. All right. So
Not the thumbs up. Not the thumbs down. Oh.
Ah.
Yes, I remember the first time Michelle tried to teach her mom how to get an Uber, and she ended up signing up to be a driver.
Actually, it's
story.
not surprising. That's quite funny.
Oh, making
speaking
good
of-
choices and not driving.
That's right.
We
Great
got
segment.
the pretty much the Uber of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. It's the Kentucky Bourbon Boys are with us this evening. Steve, David, welcome to the Man Cave.
Thank you. Cheers.
So you guys are hailing from Kentucky. You guys have been out on the road, literally on the road. So with the Kentucky Bourbon Boys, and we want to learn about how you guys came to be with the Kentucky Bourbon Boys, and what is it that you really enjoy the most,
Yeah.
and share a few stories with us.
So yeah,
some of your
let's-
favorite memories from some of the drives that you've done too.
Sure. Let's start with Steve. Steve, what brought you into the fold there with the Kentucky Bourbon Boys?
Well, Tim, the owner of Kentucky Bourbon Boys, I know you guys have met him, had him on the show before,
Mhm.
is a family member. You know, my grandmother's a Hagen, he's a Hagen, and so we knew each other. We were both elementary school principals together and rivals. And the kids drove us to drink, and so when we retired, we thought a bourbon tour would be a great way to start.
Right.
Back in 2011, we started that. Tim took the first tours out, and back in those days, there were only 16 distilleries that offered tours.
Wow.
Check this weekend. There's 95 now in Kentucky.
Oh, goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think one of the newer ones is Rabbit Hole over the past couple.
Rabbit
of years.
Hole in Louisville is a great tour. I mean, all of them are different, and you want to come back more than once because you get a different experience at each distillery.
Right.
All right, David, what brought you into the mix?
Well, I was in band, and Tim, the owner, was my band director back in high
I
school.
love that.
They drank together after.
Groom them young.
Yeah.
Groom them young.
Waited until we were 21, but no, he went to my parents' church, and we kept in touch. And as he was retiring from being a principal, and I heard he was starting up this company, I said, look, I drive for a living for my day job, and I love bourbon and love talking about it. And I said, as you expand and you're hiring outside your family, think of me. And we kind of kept in touch. And as it grew, just as the bourbon industry and the boom has came on, I've been driving since the end of 2017.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we've ridden the wave. I mean, it's amazing how much is going on in Kentucky with bourbon right now.
Oh
Yeah.
Well, we opened after pandemic and full steam ahead.
So you said there's about 95 different tours people can go and kind of find
95 different distilleries
95 different
in 40 different counties. And so you're talking about each distillery has different types of tours. You might be on a history tour. You might be on a specific bourbon barrel tour. There's different ones you can go to. So there's hundreds of tours, but there's 95 different distilleries to visit.
Yeah, and that's why when we talk to you guys, it's like, how do you choose, right? And it's like the great thing about the Kentucky Bourbon Boys is that they're like, all right, here, these are kind of grouped together. We can get you from this one to this one. This is going to be and you guys help curate the type of experience that people want to have. What are some of the questions you ask people when they're trying to pick a distillery to go to?
Well, the first most important one is, what's your favorite bourbon?
Hey,
that's the first question you ask, and you try your very best to get them to where they make that favorite bourbon so they can try it out.
Sure. All right, Steve, throw that back at you. What is your favorite bourbon?
Well, it depends on the time. I think my old granddad.
Oh, don't laugh, David. You're next, baby.
I got some different ones. My old granddad was a distiller on the Old Granddad back in the day. So,
nice.
Old Granddad 114 has got that nice heat in the winter that you need.
Yeah, guys, fellas,
that's ice fishing whiskey there.
Oh, yeah.
And my wife is a big fan. And of course, if you can get your wife in on it too, she likes the Woodford Double Oak.
Okay.
For our tour guests, we go down there and get the double oaked, and that's available at the distillery. That's really something special.
That's like being on secret double probation. Oh, that's double oak. That
would be in our Louisville sports team. We don't know.
Right.
All right, David. What about you? What's your favorite bourbon?
Well, it varies, but I try to talk, like, especially with the tour groups, I try to talk what could find on the shelf that day, because obviously there's so many you can't find. So right now, I would say my favorite is the Old Forester 1920 Prohibition style.
Yes.
I would be drinking it right now, but I ran out. So today it's the 1910. But though I think the 1920, that kick with that smooth finish, I think it's everything I love about bourbon.
Oh my God, I am right there with you, David. We did a show because we bought a bottle of it to do on Prohibition Day, right?
Yes.
So we did a Prohibition episode, and we chatted it up. And so it's been on the shelf, and it was like, a year and a half afterwards, and I'm like,
but we paired the Prohibition, with Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah,
exactly. And, I went back to it, and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot how much I like this.
Oh, it's like I said, that kick with the smooth finish. It's everything I love about bourbon, and I can go to my local store and find it at any time, unlike a lot of the other ones that I love. But
there's so many.
Yeah.
You go to each distillery and you have a favorite at each distillery.
Right. Yeah. So I love Buffalo Trace. I do.
Buffalo Trace for the price is awesome.
It's just rock solid. And then the Angel's Envy Rye. It was about 4 years ago. It was a bugger to find. You could never find the Angel's Envy Rye. It was like people were fighting for it. Now you can find it, and it's like, yay! People are fighting over Blantons and Wellers and whatever else. Eagle Rare. People are fighting over Eagle Rare, and I'm like, I'll take my Buffalo Trace.
It all goes back to Wild Turkey for me.
There were 300 people standing outside of Buffalo Trace the other day on Bottle and Bond Day because they thought they were going to have a special release.
Yeah.
I had to say there was no special release.
Camping out like it's Black Friday or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's Mike, a lot of camping out down here for bourbons.
Mike, what about you? What's your favorite bourbon?
Me? Oh man. I'm not. So here's the thing. I am a Irish whiskey Jameson guy.
Okay,
so
right on.
For me, I have that with my PBR, and that's about as far as I go.
Yeah.
Whatever. I will throw a plug to a buddy of mine, Bo. He has a basement full of bourbon, and I just drink whatever he tells me to drink. So
You got to have you done the
Free
red?
bourbon is the best bourbon, right?
That's
Oh,
it.
it's always free.
Yeah.
I don't have to buy any for my house. If I go over there, that's when I get a nice one over an ice cube, and I'm a happy guy.
Yeah,
So
it-
Irish whiskey, the
Yeah.
Red Breast 12.
Oh, my
good.
gosh.
Okay.
Yes. Big
Yeah,
Big
it's like-
Tony, the back
okay.
room at Big Tony's place.
All right.
We got into some red breast.
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
all right.
boy.
All right, Matt. What about you? What's yours?
See, I vary because I like the hotter stuff.
Yeah.
I like the warmth, but sometimes I just want to sit back and chill with a nice cocktail.
Mm.
So I do hit the Makers.
Oh,
So Makers is my more go-to.
Gretel, be
That's
happy to hear that.
exactly. Makers is my go-to. That's what I would say.
Nice.
Sure.
So
Perfect
if it's,
word for it.
if it's a daily drink, if it's a daily drinker, if you will, Makers is where it's at for me.
Okay.
But I love the old
Maybe
Four.
bullets for all the mixed drinks.
Yeah.
And there it is.
Yeah.
But
we'll
I
go
was
for
just
the
in New
bullet,
York.
for
I was
sure.
just in New York not too long ago, and I'm looking at their menu, and I actually saw the Redemption Rye.
Oh, okay.
And we just did the Redemption Rye, and I
Yeah.
wanted to visit it again.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that Redemption Rye all over again.
yeah. Augie, you said wild turkey.
That's my go-to is
Yeah.
a bottle of wild turkey.
Yeah,
I've
I love the
been-
Long Branch. Have you tried the Long Branch wild turkey?
Yeah.
not-
The Matthew McConaughey.
I've been through like 4 of those,
Okay.
and I didn't even know the first bottle I had.
right,
I didn't
all
know
right.
it was. I didn't know it was his,
Okay.
and I just
Yeah.
had Texas mesquite thing going on in it. It's just
He
like really
he
cool.
got really involved in it. They wanted him to be like kind of their face of it, and he said,
Yeah.
"No, I want to be involved."
Yeah.
He got involved in it. He came down to Lawrenceburg, where Wild Turkey is, and actually gave turkeys out at Thanksgiving.
That's awesome.
It was cool how he got involved with it.
He's
yeah.
an eclectic dude. That
Yeah.
Matthew
Yeah, he seems
McConaughey.
like a cool guy. I'd love to meet him.
You see him and Jimmy Russell talk together. That's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Different
man.
personalities completely.
Oh, geez, to be sitting on a barrel listening to that conversation.
So, and here's the thing: a lot of celebrities, they'll get involved. They'll just stamp their name on it. But
Right.
more and more
Right.
celebrities are getting involved in the process.
Yeah.
Right? Like The Rock, he's got his own tequila out there, right?
Oh,
It's like-
tequila is the fashionable one now, right
but
now. To
but
be
he's involved
celebrity
in the
about.
process, the
Mezcal.
making of it, the agaves. the-
Clooney too. Yeah,
All that.
Clooney. Yeah.
Yeah, Clooney has his. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's another gentleman that we've had in the man cave that actually started a bourbon company with his kids
Oh,
out
yeah.
of Texas.
Yep.
Right.
Wow.
He played hockey,
Yeah.
Hall of Famer, Jamie.
Oh,
Eddie Belfort.
Eddie Belfort,
Yeah.
right?
Wow,
He
that's
actually
cool.
went to school to learn how to make
very cool.
bourbon.
His son Dane
Yes.
is like he reminds me of McConaughey, and he's
Yeah.
like he's so cool. And
All right,
they are
all right.
deep, they love but they got a Texas pecan thing kind of going on in it too. It's very cool.
Yes.
So Steve, somebody books you guys with the Kentucky Bourbon Boys, and they jump on the bus with you. If they're like, we don't know where we want to go, where are you going to take Mike? Mike
Mike's
would
like,
would
"That's
be me.
over here."
No, that would be me.
Well,
He's
They
like,
don't
I
ask
wanna-
me.
I
What
want
we
to
do is we work with schedulers, and Tim's daughter, and we have other people that work with that. They take the time, and most of the time, you see Tim on the phone too, talking about and talking through the whole process before you ever arrive in Kentucky.
Oh, nice.
So you go through the restaurant that we're going to have lunch at. We talk about the distilleries that you want to visit. So everything is worked out before you even come to Kentucky, and you know what you can expect. And
So
so,
they don't trust you with any decision.
no, I don't always make good decisions. Yeah.
That's good business. You're not taking someone into no man's
Last week,
land.
Tim gave me some extra time in the schedule, and we ended up at goat races. So,
Awesome.
it's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been known to fight the Battle of Knob Creek over and over again, and I always lose
Yeah.
whenever I do that. But so you said there's 95 distilleries. What's one that we probably never heard of that you would take us to?
That's a great
Have
question.
you been to Three Boys Distillery?
Which one?
Three Boys Distillery.
Three boys.
Three Boys. We did learn a little bit about Three Boys, but help us understand a little bit more about
Yeah.
Three Boys.
Three Boys is in Frankfort, Kentucky, just outside of the capital there. And it was started, probably around 2010. And a man named Ross started it, and he had 3 triplet sons. That's the Three Boys.
There you go.
27-acre farm. So you see the corn, you see all the grains that are going into the bourbon growing right out in front of the barn. And inside the barn, there's your copper Vendome still. And he produces, and Hunter is now the master distiller, and there are the barrels, and they're on their sides, and you use a whiskey thief. He puts it in your cup, and that's how you taste it that day.
My
Oh,
goodness.
my.
It's barrel strength. You may even have some of the charcoal still floating in your cup there. And it is a special experience to drink out of the barrel.
I always want to chew on my bourbon personally.
Yeah.
Just-
And if you want to buy one of those bourbons, you can whiskey thief it out yourself and they'll let you put the label on, and it's like perfect video picture.
Talk about cask strength, right?
Yep.
That's
And then go on the back and smoke cigars outside with your, around the fire pit out there.
Fire pit, yeah.
Bourbon, it's a good day.
you guys are talking my language.
So would you recommend Three Boys at the end of the day because of the fire pit, the cigars and what have you?
Yeah.
This week I'm taking a group to Buffalo Trace in the morning. We're going to Midway to the Brown Barrel for lunch, Woodford Reserve for a tour and tasting, and we're finishing up with cigars and bourbon at the Three Boys.
Love it.
How many distilleries do you think would be a reasonable goal to hit? Because here in Michigan, we have a map of Michigan right here.
Yes.
Up here in the in the Pinky area is Traverse City, and we have a bit of wine country up in Traverse City. It's at the 46th parallel, and it's just it's good wine. It's pretty fair wine country. And there's all kinds of wineries up and down the way up there. And we try to hit like 4 or 5. And, what my wife and I, we were thinking about taking our bikes, and I'm like, there's no sidewalks. I'm like, I'm not going to be on a bike on this road with all these other people.
I've seen
going
Pet
to
Cemetery. I've seen Pet Cemetery.
I want to do it, but it's like, I want to live. So, but how many distilleries would you say would be
David, you say a normal tour?
Pretty much as a tour, you're going to go to 3 distilleries and lunch, and that's pretty much what you could fit in a day. And that's with the lunch. Yeah, we already have the orders of what everyone wants at the restaurant. So when we sit down, like he was talking about the Brown Barrel,
that's pretty cool.
You sit down, they have your lunch ready for you, so you don't waste time trying to order. But really, 3 tastings or tours.
Yes. Well, just imagine Buffalo Trace, Woodford Reserve, hot browns for lunch. And then, drinking out of the barrel and doing cigars at the end of the day at Three Boys.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
I have a question. So you're saying like a day? What time? What time is my first bourbon at then?
You'll be drinking about 9:30 or 10.
9:30.
You're not having a good day unless you're starting that early.
Hey, you can't all day drink if you don't start early.
Don't start in the morning.
And you're not driving. You don't have any of that responsibility.
Right.
Yeah, we're cheaper than a DUI. I mean, that's kind of
there's a lot of things cheaper.
So, and speaking of that, because a lot of folks are on a budget. If you get a group of 10, 11 people together, how does that work out to per person?
Yeah, what size of a group can you take?
We can take any size group. We have tour buses, to regular jumbo party buses, whatever size you like. Yeah. Most of the time, our average tour is about 9 people, and we'll put you in a 15-passenger, van to go. It's a tour bus, very comfortable, and so that's a normal tour.
Right.
And the pricing, the more you bring, the pricing gets better.
Right. The more people, the less it costs per person.
That's right.
And I think the thing that's cool about Kentucky Bourbon Boys is it's your tour, so we try to shape what you want. So
and no one else is on it but your group.
Right.
Yeah,
That's great.
It's a family. Like, we're the friend. Welcome to Kentucky. You're our friend. What do you want to do? We're gonna make sure your day is awesome.
Well, what if I don't want to offend my own friends and family with all my drinking, and I'd rather be with random new people? Is that an option?
We can work that out too. Yeah.
We'll have the special tour,
so they don't remember this.
So someone walks on the door. Hey, I want to go on a tour with somebody.
Well, I mean, there's got to be a chance where like 4 guys are in town for something and they want to do it, and it's just not conducive. Can you jump on with 4 other dudes?
Especially if you lower their price.
Yeah, right.
On there. Normally it's custom, but we are really good at being persuasive and working things out for what you want.
Yeah, you're not going to turn down 4 guys that want to spend money on.
Fair play.
As long as we have enough vans for it, yeah.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah.
David, the world's opening back up, thankfully, and things are swinging again. So, what's something that's new this season that you've seen and enjoyed that's got to open back up? Something new since the reopening of the world.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, a lot of the places that were shut down are open. One of the most recent things that has come back online, Castle and Key. I know Steve and I were talking about before we got on their bourbon. Their first bourbon came out, batch 1, last weekend.
Yeah.
So
4 years straight.
Yeah. So that was kind of one of the big things that's been opening back up, and it's just amazing that the masks are off and everyone's like full throttle. I know Steve was actually talking about Jim Beam, a couple of the new things going on with their tours opening up too, which I haven't had a chance to go to yet, but I know he has. So,
well, so many things are. I mean, they're expanding. We got Woodford Reserve. They're adding stills. They're doubling their capacity. Lux Rose doing the same thing. Heaven Hill has a brand new visitor center.
Wow.
We've got a brand new visitor center at Four Roses with the bar 1888 in it. So,
I had heard that the Four Roses, the new center, is supposed to be immaculate.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. Really, it's got a nice outdoor area, and it's got the tasting rooms inside. It's such an upgrade from where they were before. It's really a nice stuff.
As a bartender for 15 years, I've never had a better well whiskey than Heaven Hill. That was the best well whiskey we had, and I'm like,
really,
as the bourbon thing started to take off, I'm like, this is some. If you talk about bang for the buck, I mean, it's not the one you're going to serve on Christmas, but
right,
it doesn't suck. I was happy to be serving that as my well whiskey.
Yeah.
But you were here 2 years ago, and you did the Bourbon Trail with us. It doesn't look the same now. If you go to Buffalo Trace's whole visitor experience is different than what it was 2 years ago. And that's the case for all the distilleries. I mean, they're making that visitor experience so much better than it was before. It was kind of a new thing in the bourbon world to invite people into the distillery.
But
now
Freddie,
it's part of it.
But Freddie is still there, right?
Oh, Freddie Johnson's there. He still does tours every day.
Yeah.
I still haven't got to meet him, but I know he's there. I keep looking.
He'll say, "Hey, Daddy, yo, how's it going?" That's Freddie Johnson. He's an
4 or 5 years ago, my buddies and I were down there, and we had to try to find Willet in an area with no cell phone service. And we're trying to like drive around in no man's land down these dirt roads. And then someone managed to post on Facebook that we were there. And as soon as we got back into cell phone service, we got all these messages from our friends saying, "Get me this, get me that, give me this." And we had no idea. We just heard it was the one to go find.
Right.
It's off the beaten path, but it's now on the path, right?
Yeah, it's got a brand new, beautiful restaurant.
It was just building that when I was there. That was all being built when I was there.
Yeah, it's all done and ready to go.
Yeah.
So there are some special whiskeys that you can only get on site at the distilleries. So what do you guys consider if someone who was like, yeah, I want to get something that's special, you can only get on a tour? What's a bottle somebody shouldn't miss?
Well, that Woodford double oak. That's
the secret double probation.
Yes, that was smooth.
Yeah.
Also, I could say, as we were talking about Three Boys, as far as I know, except for their early bourbon whiskey thief I had seen outside, most of Three Boys Distilleries bourbons are only sold there on site. From what I can, unless somebody's snuck them out.
So they're a destination distillery?
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool. All right.
There's 7 barrels you taste out of, and you decide. Of course, they turn every day. So what you like today may not be the same tomorrow. So you need to buy it right away.
That's really
cool. That bottle and keep it that way.
Yeah, it's a unique experience that I think they're the first that I'd seen doing the tasting of the barrels, and I think a few of the other distilleries are hearing the word of mouth that they're trying to do something like that. But as far as what I had heard, they were the first to do it. And I think that's still, if you go on a tour where you see Buffalo, which has the history and never shut down, and Woodford it's big and slick, and then you see this small one, you get this range of the large to the craft, and it's just
that's pretty cool.
It's a cool, and they all have their awesome place in
tasting rooms.
Country.
Yeah, Beam is putting out all kinds of stuff. They opened up the Fred No Distillery this past summer. So all their innovations are coming out there. You can go only to that distillery in order to taste some of the newest stuff they're putting out.
So, Steve, one of the things you said before we actually went live is that you guys are booked right now through the end of October. Is that correct?
We can still take people on. We're adding drivers. We're adding vehicles. We're doing the best we can, but you need to book as soon as you can, not because of us, because the distilleries have very limited availability.
Okay. And that's absolutely fair. So what would you recommend for a group of folks that want to come and curate a tour for themselves? Do they want to plan a year out, 6 months out? What would be a good recommendation?
No less than 3 months. And if it's a weekend, no less than 6 months.
I have a friend from college that
she lives in Canada.
Niagara Falls.
What's that?
No, sorry, go ahead.
That was the old girlfriend in high school joke.
No, we were in band camp together. No, he wanted to go with a group of 3 other couples, and I told him, I was like, you better book now, because like Steve said, we're booked, getting booked through Thanksgiving, and he booked today for a September tour, and I'm going to drive him and 3 other couples. Yeah.
So where should people stay? Is Louisville the starting point? People are trying to find accommodations to stay.
We pick up everywhere. I mean, I picked up at
I was gonna
the RV park. I pick up at Airbnbs. I picked up in northern Kentucky recently, Lexington. So it's whatever. A lot of people are booking these and matching them with like horse racing. When Churchill Downs or Keeneland's in season, they'll do bourbon tour with us. They'll do horse racing the next day.
Yeah.
And that's a great. If you have a guy's weekend out, I mean, you can go get great food at night, do a bourbon tour, and then do the horse racing the next day. I mean, it's a good weekend.
All right. So if Louisville, is there decent accommodations there? Is it are there lots of hotels?
Yeah, there's good Airbnbs, and of course the Sealback, the Brown, all those. The new Omni downtown is a really nice place to stay. And they all.
What I know is like Louisville's a little bit more homey towny, not quite tons and tons and tons of
It's not Chicago.
commercial. Yeah.
No.
All right. So like Mike Myers said in Mystery Alaska, where's a fella get a rub and a tug around there? Eh? No, no, sorry, we went south. I told you
I
that.
get asked that occasionally on tours, and I'm like, I don't know.
Show.
You asked the valet at Brown.
Different tour.
That got out of hand. I mean, it really got.
Don't make me slap you.
Yeah,
Don't make me slap you.
It's not the Oscars. All right, I apologize.
Oh.
All right. Matt's kerfuffled.
I'll tell you, for our job, it's awesome. We get to see people have a good time. I mean, after all the pandemic and everything, people are coming back. They're having fun. They're enjoying themselves, and it's a good day. Even though I have to watch them drink and I can't, it's still fun to watch them have a good time.
So you make sure you drink a lot the night before, and then as soon as you get back, a lot of times my wife has actually had a drink waiting for me. It's beautiful.
But is there like if you're done with the tours, if you're staying in Louisville, is your day over? Does it run like that late, or is there something to do in the evening that you guys could recommend?
I think Nulu's a great place to go. There's lots of live music places and bourbon bars and things that you can go to. We've got an active Billie Eilish was in concert last week. They've got concerts at the Yum Center in Louisville. So there's always something to do, and combining it with sports is always a good thing to do.
Yeah, you could make your own bat in Louisville.
Yeah, you can make your own.
Yes.
If you go down Main Street in Louisville, you've got Angel's Envy, Old Forester, Evan Williams, Michter's, Peerless, the Bat Factory. You've got the Muhammad Ali Center. That's on one street.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll be out there. I'll be out there in October for the DCFC soccer match against the Louisville FC.
Wait to go to that stadium.
Yeah, my cousin is the alt rock DJ there on 105.1. He's the program director. So we're going out on the Louisville's alt rock station. So we're
that's
going
awesome.
out, and he's
Well,
from
and
Detroit, and we're going out there to watch.
Copper and Kings right down there
I'll be in
too.
the trunk.
Copper and King is right next to the soccer stadium.
So now's the time to book your tour. Coming in October, right?
In September we got Bourbon and Beyond. It is a 4-day music festival.
Yes, we thought we were doing that too.
Right there in September, and that's got everybody from Kiss to Alice in Chains to anybody you can think of in that mode. So huge concerts coming up. So there's a lot to do. You just call us up and we'll talk you through it.
Yeah, I have access to those concerts now with my cousin.
Yeah.
How much vacation time do I got, August? Not much.
Right.
All right.
I know. All right. Anything else about the trail that innovations this year that we need to know about?
Well, it's amazing right now. The Kentucky distillers put out the report. We've got 10.5 million barrels aging in the state right now.
Nice.
That's double the population of the state.
I'll help with that.
I love that statistic.
It's a good ratio, isn't it? And
I love that statistic.
Yeah, because Mike is you guys your cidery. How many barrels are you guys hoping to go through this year? About 45.
Yeah.
40. We lost you for a second. Amber, you're back.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
45 plus.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so 10 million. This is blowing your mind. Mike sitting here went. His head just exploded with that 10 million.
Crazy.
you walk in that Rick house and get that smell. It's like. Well, our governor said something the other day. I don't normally quote politicians. I'm going to quote him. We always say that he said Kentucky produces 95% of the world's bourbon, but 100% of it that's worth drinking. Now we have to agree with him. That is absolutely
fair
even
play.
more.
That's the only time I've ever agreed with the Kentucky governor. Right
I'm with you.
David, Steve, we appreciate you guys, and
Thanks for
You're
coming.
a great
in.
show.
thanks for
Absolutely.
keeping people safe. and we'll talk to you guys soon. And everybody, cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers,
can't wait to
fellas.
join one of
Cheers.
your tours. I
Yes.
will
Cheers,
definitely
gentlemen.
look you up.
I'll be out there in October.
We'll see you. Call us up.
Yep.
I will.
Yeah.
No, we will.
Yeah.
We'll start planning
Take
this
a
weekend.
tour. We're available.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.